right, Brother Franklin Hobbs. Yes, indeed. And I can say about this man here, he's been on that case, on that state of emergency, working for quite some time, often underappreciated. And I think that with the condition that we know our people are in across the country and across the world, that HIV and AIDS is a very serious subject, and we need to treat that with a bit more concern and care and respect. And I want to say this. This is a perfect example, once again, of community, how things happen. People are coming and whatnot. And what you'll notice about my campaign, a couple things. First of all, we really ain't big on time limits. You could speak and just speak your piece. I mean, you know, within reason now. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like, you know, the rushing of people, because somebody got a story, you dig? And life don't go in a time limit. Sometimes somebody needs to talk to you for a minute. Sometimes they need to talk to you for half hour, whatever, right? So we kind of don't do time limits, and we allow people to be themselves and say whatever's on their heart, because what we strive to do in the sense of community organizing is create a platform for you to talk about what's going on with you, issues that we ain't hip to, issues that the community's not hip to. And what you find is, when you create a space where other people's ideas, opinions, issues are respected and actually brought to the forefront, right, then it works out better for all of us. And when you look at this campaign, and when you look at the organizing efforts that we have done over the years, you will see that we have young and old people. We got black and white and Latino. We got all sorts of people from different faiths. We got people from different walks of life in terms of profession and what it is that their area of expertise is. And I would submit that this campaign is the most grassroots, the most diverse that has been seen before in the city of Boston. Right. Gotta be. I've never seen anything like it. I've been here for a while. And that's what we're striving to do. We're striving to do things that have not been seen before. Do what cannot be duplicated. They can't duplicate this because it's too real, it's too raw, it's too organic. So with that, I'd like to bring up the next person, sister that I met, another sister suffering with a tragic situation in this city, dealing with injustice, dealing with the stonewalling of the system that doesn't want to give up the information and the answers. And she'll tell you a little bit about her story and say some words.
I have a family member, was the youngest family member in our family and in the city of Boston to be a victim of violence. His name is Pam Goffigan. That's not really what I'm here to talk about. I'm actually here to talk about Jamarhl. Now, I know Jamarhl on a personal level as a friend, but in addition to that, I know what he represents, you know, in his campaign. On Saturday, Angela, Stephanie, myself, and a few other people, those are the Sisters of United Sisters of Color. Make sure you look those sisters up. They do a lot in the community. We were here volunteering. I had my young son with me, and there was a few of us here. Not long before we were about to leave, we heard about 4 gunshots. Jamarhl called, explained to them that he was running for district. Well, the Boston police know Jamarhl. He called, let's just say that. In less than 3 minutes, the police were here, which I had never seen in my life. During that time period, my son's only 8 years old, he had a breakdown. He started hyperventilating, was shaking uncontrollably and screaming, please get me out of here. Can we leave this city? I don't want to live here anymore. There's too much gun violence, and I shouldn't be a part of that, and I'm only a little kid. Wow. Not less than 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from his father that this is Jordan's brother who got shot. Right there. So this young man was treated like he was the perpetrator and not the victim by the Boston police. Long of the short of the story is, he had money on him that he just cashed his paycheck with. They believed that it was drug money, even though there was no drugs found on the scene, no drugs found in the house. Nothing happened. They never confiscated his clothes that were bloody. They never confiscated his cell phone. They never confiscated anything other at the scene other than his money. And we're not going to give it back until the investigation was complete. We all know how that works out. I called Jamarhl explained the situation to him. Within 5 minutes, I had a return phone call from a Boston police detective, who shall go nameless, but I had a call from him, and this morning, he was able to retrieve his money back. I say this to say that no matter what I've called Jamarhl for, whether it's somebody being hungry, whether it's somebody being shot, whether it's just an ear to lend to talk to me, he's always been there. And he's been there for a lot of people in this community. I don't think you can say the same for the current candidate in office. So if you want change, and you don't want a politician in office, and you don't want more of the same BS, please, I implore upon you, vote for Jamarhl Crawford. And that's really all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Can you hear me? It's hard for me to stand here because 1 year, 2 months ago today, my son was shot and killed by a Boston police officer in a routine traffic stop. As of today, I still don't know the officer's name. I had to have an outburst at a meeting where it was DAs, victim assistants, Conley, Walsh, everybody was there. I had to kind of show my ass in order to get them to listen to me. Supposedly, I'm going in at the end of the month to look at the evidence they have. Whoever gets in this office, we need transparency because this was supposed to be a routine traffic stop, and it went from being a routine traffic stop to accusing my son of killing somebody at another event. Not about the police pulling over my son for no reason. He had a license, the car was registered, there was no reason for the pullover. Why my son is not here when he raised his hand and asked the police not to shoot him and the gun still goes off, why I have to wait for a name is tearing me apart. I don't leave my house. Some of you all out here know me. I used to be out in this community all the time. When the election time comes, I'm the clerk sitting in the South End checking off names as they come in. I worked at the State House for 11 years. I'm in the courts. I should not be treated this way. My tax dollar says I deserve justice. I want my taxes back. Like, you didn't protect my son. You're not protecting me. Nobody from the police department has ever came to my door and said anything. I'm sorry, this is what happened. I found out from the streets. We need more transparency in the police, and they all need to be replaced. If they don't want to do their job to uphold and protect me, my child, and the rest of us, then they need to go. In my healing process, which is very hard, I wrote a poem that I like to share with you guys. I miss my son, I miss my child. You took him from me and hid all the while. I miss my son's face, my heart's in a broken place. You took my son without my permission. Now I'm crying, praying and wishing that justice be served because if nothing else is what I deserve. You pretend to protect and serve, you got a damn nerve. You carry a badge and gun and you expect a brother not to run. You wear a uniform pretending to be a cop. When he asked you not to, you raised your gun and shot. When he asked you not to, you raised your gun and shot. Now I'm left to wrap that around my head, that Boston police shot my son dead. No words of comfort, you said nothing nice. I hope to hell this haunts you for life. A mystery shooter, I know it's weird. He shot my son and disappeared. It wasn't a child from off the street. It was Boston police that walks the beat. Our children are dropping time after time. To be shot by police, now that's a crime. Then to say my child's death wasn't violent, it was to me because my life was silence. As my story comes to the end, how do I tell my 9-year-old police are your friend? We need transparency.
Tomorrow is October 22nd, the 18th National Day to protest against police brutality.
Yes.
We are also having a rally down at Ruggles Station from 4 to 7. We'd love it if you guys would join us.
Yes.
Thank you.
We will be there.
Tomorrow, 4 to 7.
Busy day tomorrow.
So we got Patty Lee's event at 3, and the action against police brutality, which is something that we generally participate in every year, at 4. and get some information from the sister. Thank you. This is probably the worst part, the part that I hate about community organizing and activism, is the amount of people who I unfortunately meet who are going through such tragic situations. Stuff that you can't just pull a magic wand out your back pocket and fix. These situations are complicated. There's a lot of details in there, and there's a lot of blockages to make things move. So we all with this sister, I've been trying to find out some information in regards to that case, and it is a stone wall, and that stone wall is a higher stone wall. Usually we can get a little something information, but they've shut this down, which basically you don't have to be a detective to say that to me would indicate that the officer was guilty of some dirt. Because generally they would have already said, oh, you know, whatever. So the fact of them withholding the information this long and to this degree of holding on shows me that there's something funky, something amiss. But that's yet another situation, unfortunately. Some other people that I work with who could not be here, and I need to connect you with, is the McMullen family. And Mark McMullen was another person who was shot and killed by the Boston police. And I'll have you know, maybe you want to sit down on the lawn so you don't fall down, but all of the people who've been killed by the Boston Police Department, they've all been black, Latino, and Cape Verdean. Shocker, right? Mark McMullen was right around the corner here on Blue Hill Ave. He was the one who the cops came up on. He put the pedal to the metal. Car chase ensued, and he's the one that they followed against their protocol and procedures, followed outside of city limits, all the way to Rockland, where, of course, then he was shot and killed. And unfortunately, too many situations are like that, and it only seem to happen to our people. And the black officers and Latino officers, as far as I know, have never mistakenly shot a little white kid, haven't mistakenly shot a little Irish kid because they thought he was in an Irish gang, never mistakenly shot a little Italian kid because they thought he was in the mafia. But our kids always get mistakenly, accidentally shot. In any event, want to bring up another brother, good brother of mine, who I've had the pleasure to become very cool with, and it's one of those connections and relationships that you have with men and men where, you know, iron sharpens iron, and I consider him a like mind and a person that I could talk about everything from politics to comic books, right? That's my good brother from the Boston Vulcans, Salih Rowe. Y'all know from Face of Love, y'all know Salih.
Preaching to the choir here, I recognize that. But my name is Salih Rowe. I'm the second vice president of the Boston Society of Vulcans, which is the union component for firefighters of color in the metropolitan Boston area and abroad. We got members in Providence, Cambridge, so on and so forth. You know, I just want to reiterate how very, very critical and important it is to get Jamarhl Crawford in office. You know, what's very interesting to me is that neither Carla Sheffield's son or Sister Lee's son were murdered within District 7. And when I talk to people about how important it is for Jamarhl to get in office, the first thing that comes out of their mouth almost invariably is they don't live in the district. And I just cannot wrap my mind around why that's so important. Because they feel like, and it's typically, this is the device, how the mechanism works, is that we go to the polls, we choose who we feel like we want, and we feel like our job is done. So, because they don't live in the district, they feel like they can't do that. And they don't want to hit the streets or influence the people that they know to get behind this brother. And I told him, I said, well, you know, if Jamarhl gets in and something happens, an injustice happens to somebody, especially a black, Latino, Cape Verdean person in District 8 or District 4, you think he ain't gonna say something? You think he's not gonna do something?
That's right.
So why the hell should it matter where you get your mail? Why shouldn't you impose on your people to, if it's an imposition, fine. But it's nothing, it has no bearing, no comparison to the imposition of Carla Sheffield, to the imposition that Sister Lee is going through. Give me a break. That's all done. It's no imposition for me to go into the Boston Fire Department and among brothers that should have no problem coming to support Jamarhl to have to influence and encourage and cajole these supposedly black men to come out to support one who has their back time and time, and like Pam said, time and time again. He continues to show and prove. We are done with the capitulating, bent over, accommodating, always want peace. But what kind of peace do you want? There's two kinds of peace, y'all. The peace that is the absence of justice, or the absence of tension, or the presence of justice. We got leadership in District 7 now who's looking for, leadership is a vague word there too, but
Appointed leader.
yeah, he's there. He occupying the seat now. But he's interested in the absence of tension. If you watch his actions and how he relates to people, he's interested in the absence of tension. Let's smile and dance and eat and pray and We're not looking for, that's the same, that's change, that's the same old thing happening, and it's the insanity. We're looking for improvement. We want the influx, the injection of justice. That's the only piece I'm looking for, when things are set right. So every day where I go to work and I gotta put out fires, Jamal's out here putting out other kinds of fires, and that's why we're brothers.
Thank you, sir.
And that's why we're brothers. And he got my support, and anyone I can influence, anyone I can speak to, grab to, threaten, whatever I gotta do to get this man in office, because right now, literally, lives are at stake.
That's right.
That is not poetic. You just heard Carla Sheffield. You just heard Sister Lee. Come on, this is not a joke. We can't afford to go to the party no more.
That's right.
That sounds funny coming from me, but it's real. We can't afford the party no more. We're paying for it with our dearest blood. Sister Lee talked about the aversion to strong black men. And if you look at the city council now, can you name one? Can you name a strong black man on the city council?
Charles Jensen.
Okay. That's just one. And yet still, he needs help.
Backup's coming.
Backup is coming. You daggone right, Uno. And I call Uno because Uno meaning one. There's only one Jamarhl Crawford. How can we? There's only one. That's a shame. So what is our duty to him? To do what I'm definitely doing, and I told Brother James this while we were talking, is that I'm so at the point where I'm putting relationships, friendships, whatever from this point on. If you bloviate and talk about how much you care about black and brown and Latino and Cape Verdean people, and you don't use this gift-wrapped opportunity to show and prove, I got no use for you in any other area of my life. Record that and stamp it. I'm dead serious, and people know who I'm talking about.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I got nothing else but love, respect, and ready to show whatever I can, money, resources, time, to see a vergence of something that I don't typically believe in. I don't think the political construct is our most expedient device that we have to change our condition in these streets or in the quality of life for black folks. I'm not a big political person. But when someone like Jamarhl Crawford says that this is what he achieves, I want for my brother, what I want for myself, and he has shown again that we have very similar agendas. So with that, I'm done. I love you, brother, and you got whatever you